Hi there, everyone, and welcome to another Level Up Talk with Wilson. Brought to you by Wilson for all you awesome crew members. I hope you're having an awesome day, start to the weekend, and excitement that is coming along with that. We have kind of like hop along kind of topic that has just come out with our latest blog. Thank you, Solomon, for jumping in and throwing in the intense Russian into the chat. Wow, that's insane. It's also really kind of cool. But yeah, hoping that you guys can join along and enjoy this topic. If you want to know what kind of talking about, here is our latest blog post that we got going on. Kaiju number 8, NES and Retro Wisdom. Yeah, that's right. It is awesome. It is old school fun, particularly for us older nerds. Hi, what's up? How you doing? And there are much older nerds too that are out there that are diving into great things. To be honest, I wouldn't be a nerd without the older nerds, aka my brothers, who are definitely into Star Wars and all goodness of fiction and comic book glory that I still even talk to them about today. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of amazing all at the same time. So, thank you for joining us on that. You can totally check this out. Self-promotion, I will admit. Here's a link to check out in the chat for you guys to be able to read any of our Between the Panels blogs. For those of you listening, you can check this out at gwbetweenthepanels.blogspot.com. Be able to read that. We also do a podcast episode of it, as well as YouTube video that you can check it out as well. We kind of just do it all. We're into it. It's good times, good fun, and growth and development. But the one that we are kind of emphasizing today, and I'm not going to read through that podcast or blog because really that's separate stuff. It's a look at, classic retro vibes, nostalgia that is in that vibe, but also just like what is the talk on wisdom. And it's funny, I had thought about this last week, and at our staff meeting here at Quinty Youth Unlimited, we dive into every other week we have a meetup, and one is usually business, talking about, how are we growing in our ministry, what are we doing, what's the intentionality of what we are doing. There's usually some form of training that goes on, but then the other staff meeting of the month, because we have two of them each month, the other one is really sitting on, spiritually. We dive into scripture, we sit on it, and we do some reflecting and have some challenges that come alongside it. And I'm a guy that loves Proverbs. Just in case you don't know that, Proverbs to me is awesome. It's a fantastic book to sit through. It also can be repetitive and can get a little bit tiresome to read. Some people are not vibing on that, and I get that. Appreciate that, Solomon. Yeah, join in on the Graphic Word server. Check out our resources. You could totally see what we're all about there as well. But this week, we focused on one particular passage. We looked at Proverbs 8. And I'll be diving into that a little bit more kind of in the process. But I want to first kind of think on, when you think of wisdom, who are the people, at least I would love to hear some chat either here on our stream. We do have Tom that's just kind of like chilling back, relaxing, like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Just sitting back. Love to hear your input on this, Tom, but also same with you, Solomon, or anyone else who is joining into the stream. When you think of a nerdy connection to wisdom, who is the first image that comes to mind when you think of wisdom or a nerdy connection to that wisdom? Yeah, that's right. We're gonna get real personal examples. Man, really making them think. They're doing a lot of pause and reflection. No one's talking, no one's typing, so we don't know what's going on for sure. But would love to have your examples. I know for me, one of the first people that I think of, and I kind of like semi brought this up back in like September, of Uncle Iroh. So if you don't know who Uncle Iroh is, first of all, y'all just need to watch Avatar: Last Airbender. Iroh, not Iron, Iroh, Iroh. Let's get some images for you guys to work with. So just so you guys know and connect who this Uncle Iroh dude is, he is from Avatar: Last Airbender. Fantastic character. Oh my goodness, I cannot give enough props to Uncle Iroh. He's an older dude, which of course makes sense that he's throwing down wisdom. He's kind of lived through mistakes and gone through that. And all throughout Avatar: Last Airbender, you really kind of see him working through, patience and diligence with his nephew, in particular Zuko, who just is literally a hot-headed dude, just gets angry at almost everything that comes around. And yet you see Uncle Iroh always talking about, oh, jasmine tea, it just like takes more effort, it's an art, it's stuff, and like legitimately it is, like it's a sensitive kind of form of tea, and so you do have to boil it at the right temperature for the right kind of flavor mix of it and all that kind of stuff. But you always have Uncle Iroh throughout all the series just dropping wisdom bomb after wisdom bomb after wisdom bomb, and it's just like, ooh, snap, he's good. Anyone else for another one? I've got plenty more to come through. If you want to, if you don't have anything that comes off the top of your head.
I'm also going to say this, Wilson. You may or may not have forgotten to add everyone in the server
I forgot to add people in the server.
that you're streaming.
That's also true.
Good. How dare you?
How dare I? I'm broken.
Good. Be broken.
Good, be broken. Wow. Everyone, Tom for the throwdown. Professional streamer. I appreciate that, Solomon. We try to be professional, don't you know? I think Tom should at everyone because he's a genius.
That's not my job.
Wow. Wow. And this is why Tom does not get cool treats. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, sure.
I mean, is that even a thing? Like, what? Anywho, no. So like, this is the thing about Iroh. So then I'll ask this, Tom, who's an example of nerdy wisdom for you?
Nerdy wisdom from me.
Yeah, like for you, when you think wisdom, this is the first like nerd culture connection to that.
Oh gosh. You're gonna have to let me think. Oh gosh.
You had all this time to think.
You think I think while I have time? No.
I would sure hope you do.
Um, I would have to say Iroh as well.
Iroh? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
What? How do I want to do
I
this? How do I want to jump at this? Because you just like literally basically quoted me on that.
well, that's who I think of as well. So
I'm just saying. Just saying. Appreciate you as a human being. um,
I quoted nothing.
I quoted nothing. You just weren't paying attention. I see how it is.
I
By the
was
way, Solomon wants to make sure you are getting some sleep.
totally.
Totally.
I
Absolutely.
mean, I went to bed last night at like 7,
What time did you get up?
like 9.
Okay, that's unfair, actually. That's actually incredibly unfair.
No, sorry, I was up at like actually around close to 8.
So essentially, Tom is just going to take over the stream at this point. So adios, everyone. It just... sorry. I had to do it. Okay. So, all right, is there any other examples of these wise guys, as it were, within nerd culture that you can think of?
These guys that I can think of.
None that you can think of?
Give me a second. Give me a second.
Did you ever watch Karate Kid?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, that's why I said you have to let me think. I was going to think of things. You have to let me think. That's why I said let me think, Wilson.
Wilson's not letting me think. How dare he? I'm just saying, Mr. Miyagi, like, ultimate form of wisdom, right? Like, you know, the training, the, like, how he's teaching Daniel-san to be able to fight and, like, fight differently, not aggressively, but, like, processing the fight, too. And, come on, whenever you hear Karate Kid, how do you not hear wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off? I'm just saying. It's, like, right there. No? No one? Okay.
It is.
I'm just saying, it's right there.
It is right there.
It really is. Yeah. or okay, for another anime goodness.
Urahara.
Oh, Urahara. Okay.
I told you I could think. You just have to give me time, sir.
Okay, Mr. Hat and Clogs himself. Okay, I appreciate the Bleach reference. Okay, that's good.
Can't rush masterpiece, Wilson.
Wow, can't rush the masterpiece. Okay. Tom, everyone, with a good piece on humility.
You know it.
You know it. No, that's fair. Mr. Hat and Clogs is always throwing down some knowledge bombs and some cool scientific-y craziness, and then owning people with pure logic and insanity. To be fair, it takes League of Legends players quite a lot of time to think. Oh! Solomon throwing
Actually,
down.
I think that's false, because if we don't think very quickly, we'll get killed.
Well, then better step up your game, sir. Just saying.
I just dropped one you didn't drop before, so I think I did step up my game.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. I have another one. You ready for this?
Sure.
Gran Torino.
Okay. I was going to go if Aizawa, but okay.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, but, like, look at Gran Torino here. He's old. He's, like, legit old. He also has a lot of vivacious, awesome goodness.
What does that have to do with anything?
He
old people can also, but old people sometimes don't have wisdom. What do you mean?
Whoa!
You don't have wisdom.
Oh, wait. Hey, whoa! Hold up. Okay, everyone, for the record, Tom just called me old, and I don't know how I feel about that right now. Kind of harsh. Anyone? Votes? Help? Wisdom's like Wilson. Wow, Solomon, if the hat fits. Okay, fine. We will refer to the very thing that I brought up here. Okay. This is for my other anime nerd fan goodness or manga or stuff like that. Kaiju number 8, Kafka, the man himself, the main focus dude. He is not the wisest dude, but what I love is that he becomes like the dad of the division that he's training in and developing into. He gets the nickname Old Man, or Old Timer, and it's like, seriously?
Well, it's not wrong. He is old, though.
The dude's 32. He's not that
Compared
old.
to the rest of them, he is.
Oh my knees.
Oh, another one I have was Dark King Rayleigh from One Piece.
Fair enough.
You don't even know who I'm talking about.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Yeah.
To All Might, who's probably listening to this, I'm sorry for letting you down.
I'm gonna mention that to him.
Oh no! Don't even. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sorry, as I'm being run through the ringer apparently with this one. But anywho, Kafka is this dude who can become a kaiju, and it's nuts. Kaiju in Japanese culture is monster. Just in case you don't know, this is where you can get your nerd education and stuff like that. But he's really cool. He turns into this kaiju, which is like super boss, super cool. And yeah, he's 32. Okay, he's not that old. Okay, like I make the joke that I feel old, and here's the thing. He's in a crew of like 20 somethings, like barely into their 20 somethings, and they're all like, "Oh man, old man Kafka," and stuff like that. It's like, oh, when I read that, I felt my back get sore.
But the thing is, even though they call him old man, they respect him.
Oh yeah, they respected him because he actually had to work harder to even be in shape alongside these dudes. So, boom, boom, old man guns, what up?
You have none.
Hey. I have nothing to say to that, because ouch. Guys, Wilson's going to need some support after this. If you really care about Wilson, please consider sponsoring Graphic Word. Help him in his old person therapy, apparently.
Oh, I thought you already went to that.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay, this is the episode where just Tom unleashes fury, apparently, on me. But, we love him.
So. Hey, I haven't hung out with you in a while.
It's true. I was due for a picking on, and I'm going to get picked on even more later on. So, it's worth it. It's fine. It's good. It means you love me. That's what it is. It's just how it is. So, of course, we're going to hop on to the Bible. Of course, we're going to be jumping on this. We already prefaced that we're going to be diving into Proverbs 8. But other peeps... Proverbs. Sorry?
Good. That's a Proverbs. Good part of the Bible. I mean, all of it is, but...
Like, all of it, but, like, Proverbs. Ooh, wisdom. It be lit. Orature. That was a horrible joke. I'm sorry.
That was a horrible joke. Please stop it.
I'm sorry that you heard that and had to deal with that. Sorry. Yeah. But we're going to be diving into Proverbs 8. But before we do that, like, there's some other guys that threw down wisdom, right? Like, there's different moments where you see wisdom is just kind of thrown out there by different people. I think primarily the prophets, right? Because, like, everyone kind of looks at the prophets as, oh, these are, like, the fortune tellers. These are the guys who are just always speaking about the future. Yes, that was a component, but it wasn't the main component. The main thing that they were throwing down was correction and guidance for a whole nation, right? They were there to, like, kind of give the head check, a progress of, like, guys, instead of going this way, you should be going that way. And this is why. And to be honest, the first ever prophet that you see in Scripture is actually Moses. And Moses throws, yeah, right? People are just like, oh, Moses, he's a good leader and stuff like that. No, he was like the first prophet. Just saying. Just saying he's bringing down some correction to the crew. And so with that, he did a lot of push for, Israel, like, learn from this experience. Don't do the stupid thing. In the article... Don't do the stupid thing and worship other gods. Like, stay true to the God that you are committing to. That's kind of a thing.
Oh, it is?
It is.
I wish they knew that.
Imagine it's a thing there, Tom. Imagine.
I wish they knew that.
You're not the only one. Sad fact. You're not the only one. But, like, this is the process of wisdom, is being able to, like, work through that, be able to learn from your mistakes in situations. Solomon, obviously, supposed to be the wise dude in history, and we're not just talking about you, Solomon, so appreciate the rep, though, with the name. But Solomon in the Bible, and I'm literally diving into 1 Kings, reading through the process, seeing how Solomon is choosing wisdom at the beginning of his reign, right? Like, he has a meet up with God in a dream, and essentially God's like, yo, I can give you anything you want. So, like, what you vibing? And Solomon, at this point, he's like in his, I think, early 20s. So he's younger than Kafka. Yeah, I'm going to keep coming back to Kafka because I relate to Kafka. Um, he's younger than Kafka, and he is like, yo, dude, like, there's this nation that now I'm entrusted with, and, like, it's kind of freaking the crud out of me. Like, could I have some just wisdom on how to rule, like, run this kingdom, to be able to be fair to the people, to like be just and bring peace to the nation. And God's like, yo, dude, brain blown, awesome, great response, great request. In fact, because you asked for that and not like riches and like long life and stuff like that, yo, we're gonna give that to you anyway. It's like a package deal. When you choose the smart answer, you get everything else with it too. Now I'm making God sound like a salesman. I'm so sorry for anyone who's hearing this and like, that's some heresy.
God the salesman? What
God
is
the
this?
salesman, you know, like, God be like, how can I help you? You please choose wisdom, and you can quickly get this upgrade to your life. That's not what I'm trying to say. But what I'm saying,
would smack you.
I'm just giving clarity, so so Tom doesn't beat me up later. But in all honesty, it's because of that choice that you saw Israel grow as a nation. The wealth of Solomon was just bonkers crazy, to the point where like everything was inlaid in gold in both the temple and in his palace. Like, the one thing that I was not impressed with Solomon, you start seeing the downfall kind of over time, was all this wealth and all this prestige kind of did go to his head. And having a bajillion wives, essentially, like hundreds of wives, and yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that. Not good relationships. He got focused on that and possessions and things, and he just like loses it over time. It's brutal. It's just rough. And so when Solomon, before that though, like, he has the wisdom of making the right decision, of trying to be wise on how he handles things and processes things. And like, again, we can have that. We can do that. And sometimes it just takes stepping away from things. It takes getting outside of your own perspective of what's going on around you and really kind of doing an outside evaluation. And this is where later on, Solomon writes literally the book of Proverbs for the most part. There's only a few Proverbs that are not written by him. But like the first 9 chapters are for sure his writings. Most of it is his writings. It's like the tail end that tends to be added wisdom literature from other people. But they're like common sayings and just like general logic of like, don't do stupid things. Imagine not doing stupid things might make things easier on you. Weird. I know. Logic blown. Sorry if I wrecked your brains too much on that, guys. But this is the thing where I kind of wish Solomon, in his reflection, and he really does do this in Ecclesiastes, like just kind of like observing everything and what's the value. He's taking a step back from everything and realizing, man, like this was all for nothing. Like, why am I doing this? And he realizes that it's all for the glory of God. And so this is where we are leading into Proverbs 8. So you guys get to read along with me or listen to my beautiful voice, and be able to digest this chapter. And we're going to go through the whole chapter. So get ready and buckle up, and then we'll dissect this over time, because really this is something that's amazing to work on, and is the personification of wisdom itself. Really, we could even go into chapter 9 and and go further in it. In fact, we might actually do that. We might even finish it up with chapter 9, verse 12. Yeah. So there you go. You got a little extra in your video today, in your live stream today. So buckle up. If you are able to watch on the live stream, you can read along. And those of you listening, I hope you enjoy the reading. So, Proverbs chapter 8. Listen as wisdom calls out. Hear as understanding raises her voice. On the hilltop along the road, she takes her stand at the crossroads. By the gates at the entrance to the town, on the road leading in, she cries aloud, I call to you, to all of you. I raise my voice to all people. You simple people, use good judgment. You foolish people, show some understanding. Listen to me, for I have important things to tell you. Everything I say is right, for I speak the truth and detest every kind of deception. My advice is wholesome. There is nothing devious or crooked in it. My words are plain to anyone with understanding, clear to those with knowledge. Choose my instruction rather than silver, and knowledge rather than pure gold. For wisdom is far more valuable than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with it. I, wisdom, live together with good judgment. I know where to discover knowledge and discernment. All who fear the Lord will hate evil. Therefore I hate pride and arrogance, corruption and perverse speech. Common sense and success belong to me. Insight and strength are mine. Because of me, kings reign, and rulers make just decrees. Rulers lead with my help, and nobles make righteous judgments. I love all who love me. Those who search will surely find me. I have riches and honor, as well as enduring wealth and justice. My gifts are better than gold, even the purest gold. My wage is better than sterling silver. I walk in righteousness, in paths of justice. Those who love me inherit wealth. I will fill their treasuries. The Lord formed me from the beginning. Before he created anything else, I was appointed in ages past, at the very first, before the earth began. I was born before the oceans were created, before the springs bubbled forth their waters, before the mountains were formed, before the hills I was born, before he had made the earth and fields and the first handfuls of soil. I was there when he established the heavens, when he drew the horizon on the oceans. I was there when he set the clouds above, when he established the springs deep in the earth. I was there when he set the limits of the seas, so they would not spread beyond their boundaries. And when he marked off the earth's foundations, I was the architect at his side. I was his constant delight, rejoicing always in his presence. And how happy I was with the world he created, how I rejoiced with the human family. And so, my children, listen to me. For all who follow my ways are joyful. Listen to my instruction and be wise. Don't ignore it. Joyful are those who listen to me, watching for me daily at my gates, waiting for me outside my home. For whoever finds me finds life and receives favor from the Lord. But those who miss me injure themselves. All who hate me love death. Now we're diving into Proverbs chapter 9, verses 1 to 12. Wisdom has built her house. She has carved its seven columns. She has prepared a great banquet, mixed with wines, and set the table. She has set her servants to invite everyone to come. She calls out from the heights overlooking the city. Come in with me, she urges the simple. To those who lack good judgment, she says, come eat my food and drink the wine I have mixed. Leave your simple ways behind and begin to live. Learn to use good judgment. Anyone who rebukes a mocker will get an insult in return. Anyone who corrects the wicked will get hurt. So don't bother correcting mockers. They will only hate you. But correct the wise, and they will love you. Instruct the wise, and they will be even wiser. Teach the righteous, and they will learn even more. Fear of the Lord is the foundation of wisdom. Knowledge of the Holy One results in good judgment. Wisdom will multiply your days and add years to your life. If you become wise, you will be the one to benefit. If you scorn wisdom, you'll be the one to suffer. That was a heck of a lot of reading. So hopefully that was enjoyable for you guys. But I really kind of want to sit along with this kind of notion of like, what is wisdom, right? Because here in chapter 8 and chapter 9, wisdom is actually personified. Now, I hope you understand what I mean by personification. If not, I'm going to fully... Tom, do you know what I mean by personification? Tom has gone silent.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, this is why I wanted to, like, lean on first, like, the illustrations of who we think demonstrates wisdom. Because really, like, and I look particularly at Uncle Iroh for this one. Uncle Iroh really almost exemplifies what wisdom is about. It's not about being the most, like, buffest dude. It's not about being the most handsome looking guy. It's about observing, taking time, and then making a decision out of it, right? Oh no, you said the live action was such a disappointment? Oh, that's too bad, Solomon. I haven't seen it yet. I'll have to check it out. But like, that's the thing about Uncle Iroh. Like, he's an observer. He's the one who takes things in, and he's just like digesting what's going on. We found it interesting yesterday, and I'm going to speak on behalf of QIU staff because we were doing some digesting of this passage here. What we found was interesting was wisdom is calling out, right? Like, listen as wisdom calls out. Hear as understanding raises her voice. And where is she speaking? She is speaking on the hilltops along the road, at the crossroads, at entrance of gates, into the roads leading in. So it's wisdom calling out, right? And we often don't think about that. And the reason why we often don't think about it is because of this passage. And you could probably take a wild guess where I'm going with this if you've heard us in the past and talking about some of what wisdom is. And that's particularly here in James chapter 1, verse 5. And we've done this in the past, but I'll just quickly quote it. But here in this passage, even like going from 5 to 8, there's clarity of what is all about wisdom. Like, what is the whole idea of wisdom? If you need wisdom, ask our generous God and he will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking. But when you ask him, be sure that your faith is in God alone. Do not waver, for a person with divided loyalty is as unsettled as a wave of the sea that is blown and tossed by the wind. Such people should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Their loyalty is divided between God and the world, and they are unstable in everything they do. Right there. Appreciate that, Solomon, right? Like, but like here in this case, we are told that, you know, if you are needing wisdom, you ask God. That not even like there's something that's calling out for that wisdom, right? And I really do agree. I don't think these are contending issues as far as like what the Bible is saying on how wisdom operates in this. And I'll explain why in a little bit. But like here we are told that once we ask for wisdom, we should expect that it's going to be coming, right? And that like God's going to give it to you. And that when God gives it to you, then you got to hold on to that wisdom. You got to stay focused on what that wisdom has been given to you, and not to be like tossing like, oh, I don't know, like I think maybe I got this better and stuff like that. Like, Tom.
Yeah.
Tom, we're gonna get real here, okay?
Oh gosh.
Oh, okay. He's like, oh shoot, now,
I don't like getting real.
why did I join in on the stream now? Oh, okay. How many times have you had it where someone drops a knowledge bomb on you and you don't necessarily pick it up? And this is not to like browbeat Tom at all, guys. So like, let's be merciful here on this. But like, how many times have you done that?
Like, what are we talking? Like a month ago, a year? How long?
Wow. Okay. No, that I'm not looking for a specific number, but like, is it something that kind of typically happens?
Uh, Depends on what the topic's about.
Okay, that's fair. All right. So there are some things that you're naturally seeing things. You already have wisdom and gained wisdom off of it, sometimes through experience or stuff like that. But there are some things where maybe if you've been taught it and like, is there an anxiousness of trying it out or like weighing it out or what is it?
Uh, More trying it out.
Okay, so trying it out. So is there a fear that if I try this out and it doesn't work, then like what the heck?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's fair. I to be honest, that's something that I've had to learn to work through as well. I'm very blessed to have people in my life that drop wisdom bombs, especially when I'm like going through some like hard stuff and trying to process and work through some things. But the hard thing is, guys, and this is the same thing that we got to do here. When we've got wisdom bombs thrown at us, we got to do something with them. We can't just like go, oh, whatever kind of stuff like that. Like here we see that we actually kind of have to try it out, to give it a shot, to work with it, and commit to resolve it, to really experience it. But if you don't, like, how are you expecting to actually retain that wisdom? Does that make sense? How do you feel
Yeah.
on that, Tom? Am I off on this one?
No, I think you're right.
Yeah, that's the hard thing about wisdom is like you have to take it in and do something with it, right? Like you can I've been working with my son on this whole idea of like what is actual wisdom versus just like what you should do, right? And any young parents out there on the stream or hearing this, you get where I'm at. So don't worry, we're in this together. But you can tell your kids the right thing to do. You can share the right things. You can even talk through why it's the right thing. And they can know that. But until it's put into practice and to see how it goes, it's not often really developed, right? Or they might try it for a time and then they just drop it. And then it's like, man, like that's not the best way to work out and stuff like that. And sometimes we push back on our parents. I get it. Like, young kid, you're just trying to test the limits as it were. But it's always important to hear out what's going on. And sometimes the best teacher is going to be experience. But what I love about Proverbs 8, right, is wisdom is like calling out. It's looking for you to like pay attention to like, dude, I got things that's going to help you through this. Like, just listen to me, work with me, and all throughout the time, you're seeing like a repetition of wisdom is actual value. That like when you retain wisdom, it actually bolsters you. It's almost like you have this wealth that you've now accumulated and stuff like that. Respect respect and listen to your elders, you rebellious youngins. Yes, Solomon.
Yeah, we'll see. It's called you an elder, by the way.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm cool. I'm getting some grays every once in a while. I get it. I'm down with it. It just means I'm one step closer to being Professor X. So, I just don't want the wheelchair. That's all I'm saying. I don't want it. Anywho. No, like, but that's the thing about wisdom. When you have it, you see the value of it. And so, like, Tom particularly, I keep on picking on Tom, but he's also the one here who's able to respond back. So it's his own fault. He's quiet now on that.
I am.
Tom, you're going into the trades.
Yeah.
Going into the trades, there's things that you're going to be learning basics, right?
Yeah.
But once you get out of the trades, you're going to be taking on an apprenticeship.
Mm-hmm.
What do you hope to gain out of your experience in apprenticeship?
To learn what I have to do and learn not to kill myself, basically.
Okay, that's important. Learn not to kill yourself with electricity, because that's a very painful death, FYI. So, those of you listening, don't play with electrical wiring.
If you smell, I learned this. If you smell like bacon or something, someone electrocuted themselves.
Oh, dang! I did not know that.
I think it's they killed themselves with current or it was voltage. It was one of the two. Because you can kill yourself with electricity, but there's two different ways you can die from it. You can die from the voltage, or you can die from the current.
Dang. And so the current smells like bacon. What does the voltage smell like?
I don't know.
I'm
I think
scared
it's the
now.
current that makes you smell like bacon. It could be the other one, other way
So,
around, but
so
yeah.
essentially, if you're gonna die, you may as well die the good
If you
smelling
smell
way.
bacon in the factory, you know something happened.
Or someone's cooking bacon. Maybe. You don't
Or
know. Salmon. Crispy human. Oh no. Oh no. We are not cannibalistic here. Just throwing that out there right now. We but that's so right there. This sounds horrible, but someone had to go through that experience, right? And that's something that now you can retain. And now if you smell bacon on the job site and you know there isn't a microwave, or someone hasn't brought lunch, you got an issue on your hands. Like, that's wisdom in some ways. It's like applicable wisdom or applicable knowledge and to wisdom. It must have been a shocking experience. Oh wow.
okay,
Solomon.
ban him,
My
ban him.
man. Wow. You would
What?
make Coach very happy with that comment, Solomon. So
You know what? I'm logging into Twitch and I'm gonna time him out.
don't do it. Don't do it.
Here I come.
Oh wow, Solomon, watch out now. But like that's the thing about wisdom, right? It's so much more than just knowledge, right? And that's the difference of knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is simply having facts in your head. Wisdom is actually putting the footwork, the connection to everything right there into work for you. I can be a huge comic book nerd. And so like this is where there's wisdom in nerding out, so to speak, or maybe it's me just saving my skin on what I do. But there is a lot of knowledge retention that I can be doing in reading comic books and a lot of stuff like that. My boss often refers to this, and you guys have heard this online. I am a font of useless information. Literally, I know lots of details over superheroes, over comic books, over anime, stuff like that. And it's like, so what good is that? And this is where you guys get to experience what I think is wisdom in connecting this nerd culture knowledge that you guys likely have memorized or have worked on. Wow. Tom.
It was 2 seconds.
Okay.
See, he's back.
He's back. Had to start it. But like that's the thing about it, is that with this amount of information that I've got, I hope to use wisdom by connecting it to the scripture, being able to share it with you guys, so that when you see those things, you're going to have that click-in moment. Just like when Tom goes on the job site and he smells bacon, he's going to have that click-in moment of like, whoa, did someone touch current? What's going on? What's happening? Make sure is anyone dead?
Well, it's not that they touch current; they touch wire, Wilson.
Okay,
you can't.
You get what I mean, though. It's going to be useful for you. So that when you smell
What?
bacon...
Someone touched current! How'd they touch current? They touched a wire.
They touched a wire. Don't you know they just touched ethereal nothingness and they died? No,
Yeah,
that would
somehow.
be if an angel showed up. Then they would probably poop their pants a lot. Awkward moment. But like, honestly, this is the thing that we're seeing in wisdom. And it's calling out for you guys in this, right? Wisdom, and live together with good judgment. Oh, so like they're together in this. They're unified together. I know where to discover knowledge and discernment. So it's not just even having that knowledge, but also discernment on how to do it. Oh, so it's like the combo idea of what wisdom is all in development of. One thing theologically that I'll throw down, and this has been brought up by different commentators, and this was an interesting point that I learned yesterday. So, application for all you guys out there. When it came to this section of Proverbs 8, where it's talking about how wisdom was there at the beginning of time, right? It was there. God created wisdom in this, and it helped lay the foundations, the boundaries, help give discernment and all this kind of stuff like that, right? There's been an argument, at least within sorry, not Jehovah's Witness, Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints, aka the Mormons, where that's really showing that Jesus is a created being. Because the point that comes to this is that wisdom really is the actual form of Jesus. And that's not unusual. Lots of commentators point to that wisdom is actually Jesus. The only thing that's weird is the gender identification of wisdom being her. I've heard comments on that, on wisdom tends to be used within a feminine term rather than as a masculine term. That's what I've heard. I could be totally mistaken. You could do extra research. And then you comment. And then you can go, Wilson, this is actually an article on this and stuff like that. Would love to have that. Would love to carry on this conversation past the live stream. Just saying. Appreciate you guys in doing that. But that's the thing about here, is that you're seeing wisdom is the foundation of everything. And when you look at Jesus, all throughout the New Testament, Jesus speaks with authority. He speaks with wisdom, and wisdom beyond his years. It seems like he knows things better than the people around him. Like, to the point where you have religious leaders, teachers of the law, when he's like 11 years old, Jesus is throwing wisdom bomb, and they're like, what the heck is this kid? Like, what's going on? And so, of course, they want to hang out. They want to learn. They want to discuss these kind of things, because who wouldn't want to nerd out with somebody like that, right? Like, this is why I hang out with Tom. We nerd out together, but we also call out each other's junk. He has to do with that a lot with me, guys. Just so you know, Tom is definitely earning his way as a leader. So, yeah, support. Tom has nothing to say, apparently, on that.
I do have nothing to say.
Oh, you do have something to say. What do you have to say?
I said nothing. I do have nothing. I do have nothing to say.
Oh, well, okay then. Fine. But, like, that's the thing about this, right? Like, wisdom is there. And this is why I kind of find it really cool in the Old Testament or not in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, when Jesus is like talking about what is discernment, what is actual knowledge, right? Like, those who have ears to hear, let them hear. He's encouraging you to like take that moment and really kind of figure out, what is your motive in all of this? What, like, is your heart doing this right? Are you just like kind of shutting this out, or like, is it stirring something in you that you gotta like, no, I gotta work on this? And part of that is working out that wisdom is the foundation of everything. Like 32 onward, and so my children, listen to me, for all who follow my ways are joyful. Listen to my instructions and be wise. Don't ignore it. Joyful are those who listen to me, watching for me daily at my gates, waiting for me outside my home. For whoever finds me finds life, and who receives favor from the Lord. That's what they receive, favor from the Lord. But those who miss me injure themselves. All who hate me love death. In having wisdom, in sitting with God, and honestly, like, we talk about taking up the word, right? Taking up the Bible, this thing, making sure that's, dusted off every once in a while and stuff like that. But, like, honestly, sitting in this and just, like, digesting what's being thrown at you, like, it's like having a giant hunk of steak that you get to eat every morning, just for your brain, for your heart. But when you start applying it, and not just like only reading it and just going, oh, that's a new thing, it's like, shoot, what do I learn off of Solomon, off of this wise guy, like literally the wisest dude in all of human history? And yet, what does he do? He makes some dumb moves.
I was gonna say, not middle of his life, he wasn't the wisest.
Right,
but
exactly. Like that.
The rest, yeah.
Right. And Tom, you're 100% right. Because you look at it at the beginning, you're like, dude, I get it. Like, he's getting it together. Like, he's making sense. But then when he comes to the middle point, when everything's going awesome, things start sucking, right? Like, he starts making some dumb moves. and he's
He
kind of
sees a woman.
sorry.
He sees a woman.
Well, he doesn't see just a woman. He sees
Okay,
like
we don't go into
multiple women.
detail. We just see a woman.
Like that's the thing about Solomon. It wasn't just one pretty lady. It was like a whole palace of pretty ladies who then brought some other good stuff that, well, not other good stuff, other stuff that were not so good. And it really messed him up. Like, part of the promise that God gives to Solomon is that if he obeys his decree and he listens to God, like, he's taken care of. Like, fully taken care of. Doesn't have to worry, think, period. Like, God's got him. And when he starts getting a little bit too big for his britches to focus on what he is enjoying and all this kind of stuff, he starts screwing up. He didn't learn the lesson from his daddy, apparently. Like that's the hard thing. He's replaying essentially what was going on with David. Now, of course, he's not stealing a dude's wife and killing the husband. No, that was like a big mess up. That was like, yo, David, like, what the heck, man? You were doing phenomenal, and then this random weird moment happens because you didn't keep your eyes fixed on what you were supposed to be doing. Like, you every part of you was like, Solomon, what the heck, man? Like, you had things set. You were ready to go. You even made the temple a legit dwelling place for God, a permanent dwelling place for God, and you still messed up. Like, what is going on here? And this isn't a beatdown to make you feel bad, guys. Like, this is honestly, I'm not trying to say this.
Make you feel bad.
Well, sorry, I'm not trying to make anyone
Feel bad, people.
Oh my goodness. But I want, like, honest reflection, right? Because Tom, you get this, and like, we both get this. We as people, we can be really stupid sometimes.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Like, you know, like we are not
Especially that guy Wilson.
Wow. Okay.
I'm joking.
Thanks for the. Anywho, we keep on making these mistakes, and we can beat ourselves down on it. We really can. Or we take what wisdom is, we learn from the mistake, and we go forward in it. And we just, like, go, okay, God, so, like, I messed this up. So, like, so what I'm hearing... Oh, no, Solomon. So what I'm hearing is the answer is celibacy and doing a Mount Athos. I have no idea what a Mount Athos is. I'm a little confused on that one. I'm not saying celibacy is the answer. All I'm saying is, honestly, where's your focus in things? Because even, I'll say this, guys. Mount Athos, no women are allowed there. Oh, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. That is not what I'm trying to say via David or Moses or, well, sorry, not David or Solomon. But what I'm saying is, where's your perspective at? Because this even happened with Moses, right? Like, the dude gets to be the first prophet of God, and he loses sight when he's, like, uber ticked off at the stupidity of the people around him. Which, in all fairness, yo, they were pretty dumb. Like, just opportunity after opportunity where, like, God shows up, helps them out, and they're like, yay, we're connected with God. And it's, like, almost, like, barely a week after, and they're like, man, being with God sucks. Like, this is just too hard. Why couldn't we had this. It's like, are you seriously that thick? Right? Like,
I mean, you are, so.
Right. And that's the thing that we got to come to. And I say this almost like every podcast. Like, we got to get through our own thick-headed nature. And again, thank goodness for the grace and mercy that Jesus brings, right? Like, thank goodness that wisdom actually showed up via Christ. Showed what it means to live after God, which also showed that it requires us to be willing to give our lives for God in service to him, which is the hard thing, right? But when we do that, we actually gain the biggest benefit of closeness with God, actual relationship. We are able to share that wisdom with other people and have a bigger impact, not for the sake of self-promotion, but for honestly the benefit of other people. And so, yeah, guys, the level up challenge I would give to you, and that includes you, Tom. Yeah,
Oh, I know.
it's to you too. Same with you, Solomon. But my level up challenge to you is who's like the Uncle Iroh that you can be gleaning off of. But more than just Uncle Iroh, because that's a physical person, right? That's a person that has gone through wisdom. And I think we always need a mentor that's going on in our life. But like also, there's been a book that I've been reading, and not just the Bible. Clearly the Bible I'm reading. But there's this book that I've been reading, and it's because my mentor is walking me through it too. And it's called The Divine Mentor. And the whole process is like, how are you protecting this time with God here? And learning from the mentors that are in the Bible, right? Like looking at each person, like Moses, and what are the lessons I can be learning and talking through with Moses off of the experience that I see and read off of here. How do I grow off of that? How can I do that with Jonah? Which is weird, right? Because like Jonah was a big screw up of a prophet, but really I can learn from his mistakes. Like, remember, the focus is on other people. How do I love on people who really have done me some major wrong, and whom God is leading me to help invest in, to love in, to care for, all that stuff, right? And so, yeah, my question is, who's going to be your mentor currently in the Bible? Who's the Uncle Iroh that's going to be speaking to you in your Bibles this week? Any thoughts, comments, prayers, concerns, questions, stuff like that? More so like it's prayer time, things like that. Tom, do you have any prayer requests?
Do not.
You do not. Well. Oh.
Not for me, but for Katrina.
Okay. Yeah, we have a friend of ours, Katrina, who is doing some applications for getting into the OPP and cadet program and training and all that goodness that comes along with it. Currently going through a test that's like 4 hours long. Whew. Yeah, that's not fun. So we're gonna pray for her. Solomon, if there's any prayer requests that you got thrown down, we would love to pray for that too. Yeah. Awkward pause for a moment. Sippy. Oh, water was a good choice. I'm just gonna say that right now. It was a good choice. All right. Cool. Well, I'm gonna pray, and then we'll close down the stream with y'all awesome people. God, I thank you for this time where we've been able to digest your word, to read through Proverbs 8, and to be reminded that you are calling out to us, that your wisdom is calling out to us. And we need to sometimes even just sit back and listen. Help us to do that in your word. Help us to learn to step away from our situations, to call for you to speak to us, or not even that call you to speak to us, but we would unclog our ears, so to speak, in our own thought processes and how we think we should do things, and just go, God, like, I just need to hear you. Help me to just focus on you. Listen to what you have to say. Be guided by your wisdom. And thank you that we can call on you for wisdom, and you generously give it to us. But God, we do need to take it. We do need to hold on to it. It's when we do that we are going to be getting these benefits of being able to know how to address certain things, how to handle things properly. And that impacts not just our lives, but the people around us. And seeking justice and living right with you and connected with you. and making a positive impact in our world because of that. Help us to look to your wisdom, to sit on it daily. Help us to be mentored by you when we read scripture and just honestly listen to what you are saying. Help us in finding good mentors that do that as well and help guide us along that way as well. We just pray for Katrina and her test that's going on. Pray, that she'll be able to push through this, be able to have a calmness in her mind and her heart throughout this process, that things would go smoothly, and yeah, that you would just be holding on to her, just giving her strength throughout all of that. And just be with us when we peace out from here, to continuously look for leveling up opportunities in our relationship with you and development of ourselves and our character. We ask this in your name. Amen. Well, awesome crew. Thank you again for joining in and dealing with my weird voice, and joining in with Tom as well, so then he's not as lonely. Because sometimes he gets lonely.
Not true, but okay.
Wow. Okay.
Because I can always just ring you and I'll know your answer.
Yeah, that's shots fired. Okay.
Yeah.
Anywho, hope you guys are having an awesome time. Have an awesome weekend. We'll see you next week. Peace out.